Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I'm here with a book review. The book that I'm going to be reviewing is a play called Crumbs from the Table of Joy by Lynn Nottage. Previously, I did a two-person discussion about Milma's Tale, which was also written by Nottage, and I personally felt that this was a little bit better. There are some issues that I found with this book, but I think that overall as a story, it was still pretty good and meant well. Crumbs from the Table of Joy has to do with a man named Godfrey Crump and his two daughters, Ernestine and Ermina. After the death of Godfrey's wife, he's recently widowed, he brings his two daughters up with him to Brooklyn. Godfrey has some issues being able to settle after that point with regard to getting his life together. He relies on this Father Divine, which is a pay for a blessing, where he sends money to this, it's almost a televangelist-like individual, and he lets Godfrey know that he's got God's salvation, which smells like a scam, thus it is. But Godfrey does really care for his daughters. He works hard for them and provides them with the as much care and then some that he is able, even to the point that he sneaks him some treats. But his sister-in-law, Lillian Greene, comes along. She is a much different kind of individual, very in control of her life, and she's also a communist, which this story is set in the early 1950s. Communism is seen very suspiciously. If you were caught as a communist, you would be blacklisted in whatever realm you may be. The term blacklisting primarily refers to Hollywood and the world of fame, but Lily in general is very determined and knows that she has to take it into her hands in order to obtain the proper deal of success. And during this time, it is incredibly radical, but it creates a clash between two different ideals, and Godfrey gets to the point where he has to step aside. And when he returns, he comes back with a woman by the name of Gertie Schulte. The Crumps are a black family, and Gertie is a white German immigrant. So they meet very quickly on the subway, and they get married shortly thereafter. And it adds to Godfrey's complexity with regard to what he wants in life. But at the same time, whether or not you side with Godfrey or Lily, it all comes down to your ideals, because Lily seems to be in the much better circumstance, but at the same time, she operates an underground lifestyle where the way that she does things are very controversial and risky, but she is much more self-assertive as opposed to Godfrey, who's looking to figure things out, even though he has a pure heart. The names of the characters are really worth looking into, because you have Godfrey, who is looking for God's freedom, looking for a sense of salvation and relief with something that's beyond his control. Lily's the complete opposite, where she knows that if she wants to get to someplace, she needs to be able to have control of her own circumstance. Ironically enough, when it comes to communism, you are placed in it. Communism is, once you get deeper into that belief, you end up surrendering a sense of control of one's circumstance. But Lily's name is also pretty significant in how there is a sense of exterior beauty, but on the interior there's also a sense of boldness and confidence that contributes to an interior beauty as well. Godfrey's daughter Ernestine often will step aside from the events taking place within the play and speak to the audience, and her name also is very fitting. The act of being earnest. She comes off in this play as the voice of reason, looking to do what is right, and showing a sense of truth and being genuine. Ermina is her younger sister. She primarily is going through the motions of someone of her age. And the one thing I thought of was the ermine, which is a weasel-like creature that tends to be asocial and a little bit distant, but I have a sense of complexity with that one, because Ermina is a little bit distant and asocial with the people within the play, but at the same time she's looking to fit in with her new community. Gertie Schulte is somebody that I have a sense of complexity when it comes to figuring out if there's a meaning within her name. But as far as the play is concerned, I think that there is a great deal of strength when it comes to the structure of the characters within this piece. I think that they offer a great sense of potential dimension, and there's a great sense of potential energy. This is potential, though, not kinetic. I think that's one of the biggest issues with this play, is the fact that this would have benefited much more if it was longer. They really zipped through a lot of things, which, on one hand, it could be a strategy to keep people's attention, but I think that the potential energy within this play was strong enough to keep people's attention and go beyond. I think that they could have really expanded on things, and this would have made for an even better play. I gave this 3.5 out of 5 on my Goodreads. I think that it has all of the components, and I think that this really caught my attention and explored a lot of areas, but I think that it could have been much more fulfilling and much stronger. And I would discourage certain groups of people from reading this, especially those that have a more conservative mindset, because it almost seems like there is a glorification of Lily's lifestyle as opposed to Godfrey's, because Lily does seem like she is the more satisfied character within this play, but her way of her lifestyle choices and the way that she goes about doing things is not for everyone. So that is something to take into account. But I think that this is something that is worth exploring. I would like to read some more from Lynn Nottage. Intimate Apparel, Ruined, Sweat, and as I made mention in the beginning, this was better than Milma's Tale. This was published by Dramatists Play Service, and if you like what you see on this channel, I encourage you to subscribe, give us a good old like, and if you want to talk about this play a little bit more, feel free to do so in the comments. And if you really like what you see, I encourage you to support our channel on Patreon, for the money that we make will allow us to provide you, the viewer, with more content, on the basis that it will provide us with even more memory cards to hold what we tape, and flash drives, so that we can make even more room to keep the save files, and also makes it easier to transport from myself to people that are either editing or putting together introduction videos and whatnot. For now, and as always, I encourage you to keep reading.